Did you actually think I was going to forget about that episode? Yeah, I watched it, and after having watched it, I realized that episode needed its own full individual review. Okay, so you all are certainly aware of the 2008 direct-to-video movie Turtles Forever, where the Turtles of the 4Kids TV series met their counterparts from the original Fred Wolf series. And hopefully you saw my earlier review and entire take on that movie. Well, during the 4th season of the Nickelodeon series, those creators made their first attempt at their own version of such a crossover. And yes, I said first. We'll get to that later. For now, let's take a look at the episode, Trans-Dimensional Turtles. This episode took place right after the Cosmic Ocean, where the Turtles and the Fugitoid found the second fragment of the black hole generator and are now searching for the third. Raph finally asks the obvious question of why they don't just destroy the pieces they already have, but is shot down by Don and the Fugitoid, saying the Triceratons could still replicate them. Fair enough on that end, but as to why they wouldn't still just destroy the pieces they already have now to possibly buy themselves some more time, yeah, we're still left hanging there until the end. And then suddenly the Turtles are just zapped right out of the ship, and they end up in...
Where are we?
I think I speak for everyone when I say, Holy Sewer Cakes!
Yep, they're in the world of the 1980s Fred Wolf Turtles, who were the ones that beamed them there in the first place.
You guys don't even fight with your weapons. And what's up with the initials on your belts? Lame.
I think I'm gonna like putting some more cracks in this imposter shell. And you, Gappy, why do you sound so weird? Me sound weird? Heard yourself lately?
Okay, that was funny. And yeah, that's one of the good things about this episode. Unlike Turtles Forever, this time they brought back the original voice actors for the first cartoon characters that are here. Not only does Rob Paulsen voice the first Raphael in addition to the current Donatello, but we also get Cam Clark, Townsend Coleman, Barry Gordon, and Pat Fraley back. Second, we also get a decent enough replication of the old Chuck Lorre, Dennis C. Brown soundtrack, which you may recall was one disappointment I had with Turtles Forever. Unfortunately, after that, things start to go south pretty quickly, as Krang swoops in and interrupts the entire meeting. Wait, when did this show's Krang become so proactive? Doesn't he usually delegate this type of stuff? And yeah, that leads to one of the show's first big problems. The Shredder doesn't appear in it. Either one of them.
This will be the last time I have to look at you disgusting turtles. The Krang are letting me go home.
Wait. Nah.
Not so fast, Krang. Wow, this is just lame.
So after a battle between Krang and the 80s Turtles that mostly serves to have the Nick Turtles mock it, Krang knocks them away and disappears into the portal.
All we have to do is hone in on Krang's dimensional coordinates and yes! How does that even work? That doesn't make sense.
Your mutagen turned people into random monsters for no reason in the first 2 seasons. You have no right to claim what doesn't make sense.
Dudes, look at us. We're like more solid or something.
What's going on, Donatello?
Well, we came from a 2-dimensional reality into a 3rd dimension.
Ugh, this is the lamest meta humor I've heard outside of Thalos. And yeah, that won't be the last time I bring up his name in this video. They find Krang rigging something on the Channel 6 building. Yeah, now they reveal that place actually exists. And then Krang uses the molecular amplification unit that he just had in his pocket, and uses more weapons that I'm pretty sure we only saw in the video games, before escaping while Donatello deduces the device is designed to basically wipe out the whole dimension. They go back to their lair, and of course we get the 80s Turtles having to deal with this Splinter being a bit more of a hard ass than theirs, while Leo and the present Turtles deal with seeing Splinter when they know he's going to get skewered in 6 months. But then the Dons find out there are 2 other Dimensionizers out there, with one of them back in 2D land on the same tower. Unfortunately, they take a wrong turn trying to jump dimensions this time.
I hacked your stupid portal and brought you here.
Krang Supreme?
No, Megan Fox.
Never mention that name in a Ninja Turtles production ever!
You are in my domain now, mutants. The Technodrome!
Okay, now things could actually get good. We get the original Technodrome along with 2 Krangs from 2 entirely different dimensions.
We banished you because you're a screw-up. But you made up for it. Welcome home.
What? Yeah, they're saying Krang in the 80s series is one of the Krang from the Nick series. Okay, I guess when you think about it, it can make some sense. No, it doesn't! What? This raises so many questions that using that Batman Forever clip would be redundant. Why are they trying to suggest that these 2 Krangs come from the same Dimension X when it's been established the Dimension X of this series is completely different from the other one? Why did we never see any of the other Krang in the first series if they were always there? Why haven't we seen the neutrinos in this series? And yeah, spoiler alert, we never see any type of neutrinos for the entire series. Why do these Krang not have bodies? One of the key elements of the first Krang's backstory is that he lost his body when he was sent to Earth, thus needing Shredder to help him build that robot replacement. They even finally showed us what Krang's real body was like in one of the later seasons. In one 5-second long discourse, you've dug more plot holes than I could possibly keep track of for 2 animated series. And it's just a cheap way to try and tie the 2 Krangs together that makes absolutely no sense when all they had to do was suggest this Krang subprime discovered the 80s Krang's existence from another universe's Dimension X. It's the KISS formula, damn it! At any rate, this leads to a fight between the Turtles and the Krang. By that I mean the Nick Turtles who slice and dice while the 80s Turtles just stand around watching. Because, you know, those Turtles have absolutely no experience taking out things like robots. Yeah, they just threw in that bit from the CBS intro for no good reason other than, hey, that existed before. Are these the same writers that made the Gem movie?
Back to our home dimension. 2 Dimensionizers down.
No matter. There's still one left in the primary turtle reality. If those turtles are destroyed, then so are all of you.
Yep. They're stealing the plot line from Turtles Forever. You know all those sci-fi movies and shows that get into cloning and bring up how making a copy of a copy results in something duller and nowhere near as good as the original? I think I'd like to watch any of those episodes over this thing. The Donatellos are the only ones who can get to the final dimension, which is pretty much inside a comic book. And they just just get chased by the Prime Turtles until they find the third Dimensionizer and escape with it. The Prime Turtles don't even get lines in this thing. Lame.
You can't blow up our realities anymore!
Blow up? Realities? You've been trying to wipe out dimensions? We've been trying to mutate for thousands of years? Are you insane?
I'd bring up what is wrong with that, but I have to save it for a later time. So the Krang subprime kicks Krang back to 2D land, then all 8 turtles take out subprime and send him to the prime dimension. The 80s turtles send the Nick turtles back to their home dimension so they can continue the search for the black hole generator, and the episode ends with the same scene that the Manhattan Project episode ended on, only now showing Tiger Claw bursting out of the space worm. Because, yeah, that happened at the end of that episode, and they just kind of glossed over how he returned a few episodes later. And yet I don't recall them mentioning how Krang's subprime got back from the Turtle Prime dimension since he was in the Annihilation Earth episode that took place 6 months later. So basically the ending is like the whole episode itself. Half-assed! I really wanted to like this episode. Remember, I liked Turtles Forever and thought people like Phalos were too hard on it because it actually did a good job showing how both sets of turtles there had their strengths and weaknesses and that they could work together playing to each other's strengths. But this thing really did come off like it was insulting the first Turtles series. It spends way too much time insulting a lot of the things the 80s Turtles did and never really gives themselves a chance to defend themselves on it, even though they were the ones that got the crossover to start in the first place. Not to mention the serious plot holes it creates regarding the continuity and origins of certain characters, and this whole thing does come off like a fan fiction. And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against fan fiction. If you like doing it, it does have an advantage in that you can freely write your own crazy what-if stories on your favorite shows, not worrying about the need to adhere to strict continuity in order to create what you would like to see. But that just doesn't always work if you are writing something for the actual show itself, because it's going to leave the millions of others who watch it with serious questions that may not have mattered to you, but matter to them. I had that problem with the Forever Red episode of Power Rangers, and I have that problem here. Like I said, this was the first attempt to cross over the original 80s Turtles with the Turtles from this Nickelodeon series. And yeah, we'll get to that story when the time comes. But for now, let's just put this out of our minds because this episode really had no influence on the rest of the season whatsoever, and get back to the rest of that season 4 next time.